Hello, Steve White, Steve Arts 89 here. Looking at another of the He-Man books, this time the Character Guide and World Companion, which of course also features She-Ra, Princess of Power. And again, I hate the blue inside covers, but at least two of the volumes, they actually had some large mural style sort of images that kind of deserved the 2-page treatment, but I would have preferred this in its original form. I don't know why they do this for every volume. And yes, I've criticised it in every review or overview I've done, but I can't help it because I don't like it. Okay, I think I need to move this over a little bit. Okay. Now this one was released in 2017, and it basically just looks at the characters, and it goes through beasts, creatures, monsters, factions, organizations, species and races, artifacts, devices, weapons, spells and magic, locations, vehicles and transportation. And I'm not going to flick through every page because, much like the complete guide to the classic animated adventures, there's a lot of text and a lot of information and not a lot of pictures. But at least with this one it varies, whereas the other one, it's same format for every page, so it didn't make a great video, but if you want to know what's in the book, you get a look. And yeah, so they just go pretty much alphabetically through the characters, and you get different images, of course, from the varying, whether it's from the TV show or the comic book or if it was a toy, because now that He-Man has expanded a little bit, you actually get all of those. You get characters that only exist in the animated series or the original series or the new series or a comic book. So you just get a little bit of information on each person and an image. If it's an important character like Beastman, you'll get information on all the variations because they would have gone through various transformations and variations and different versions throughout the actual series or the comics. Like Catra, sometimes they get 2 pages, sometimes they get a page, but sometimes they have to spread it over, so it's very much just about getting information on the page and showing it all. So yeah, and it's kind of hard to really, I mean, it's alphabetical, so you sort of, if you want to look for Flutterina, you got to go to the F's, but it's very dense, but there's no way, I have not even tried to read this, and I'm not sure how to read these. I don't know if I should just sit down and give them a day, or do I try and, when I go through each series, look up each character and just get the information on them while I'm watching it, or I'm not quite sure how to do it. But it is nice though to just sit, like, look at Mantenna. Get the difference between the TV character versus the comic book versions, and the 2002 toy versus the original toy. So it's good that you get to look at all the characters and all the variations and the details. And if you love He-Man, you can just get lost in this and just spend all day going through it and reading it. But I think if you're looking for specific details on specific characters, it is going to be a little bit painful to try and find it all. But and I kind of wish they'd had an overall graphic design, not just a white page. But I think they probably tried that, and it's probably too dense. And they have to fit a lot in, and it would have been a much thicker volume if they hadn't done that. So, okay, we're nearly through the characters. Chapter 2, Beasts, Creatures and Monsters. So it's pretty much the same, except of course it's focusing on the animals, and same thing, information. I mean, we've got the years the characters were created, basically, where they came from, a little bit of information. At least one picture. Every creature and character gets at least one image. Some, of course, get multiple if they do have variations and they're important and they're looking at all the variations. Now, Beast Creatures and Monsters is not the biggest chapter. The main one was the main characters one. We get to chapter 3. Factions, organizations, species, races. Again, not the biggest chapter, because, well, most of the characters were humanoid in the show, in the comics. But, I mean, obviously we want to look at factions like the Horde. I feel like they could have expanded on a few of the more important ones, a bit more depth, but then, of course, that would be at the expense of smaller characters, which we don't know about, which this, you discover quite a lot. Or you remember a lot that you saw, but you didn't really pay attention to and didn't get any information on, that weren't featured maybe more than once. Chapter 4, Artifacts, Devices and Weapons. Surprisingly big chapter, actually, but I guess every character has weapons, every episode features them. So we get a lot of information. All very interesting when you actually take the time. And I've only looked at a few things, looked at a few of the things that I was actually interested in. I still don't know when I'm going to go through all of this. But I kind of love having it to look forward to, because this is days of just reading. And it will be very interesting to watch the series or read the comics after getting all this information about the characters. So now we get Spells and Magics for chapter 5. And that's a very short chapter, actually. Chapter 6, Locations. Yep. Now I wish that some of these pictures were larger so you get more of a sense of the actual locations. But again, it's just going to make the book a lot longer. And it's already long enough. We're up to 500 pages at the moment. And this is probably the longest chapter, if not for characters. Eternia Towers. That's the funniest playset. If you've ever seen it, I don't know what they were thinking when they put it together. It's like they wanted to combine Castle Grayskull, Snake Mountain, and like the Palace of Eternia somehow, and they just made this. I don't know if they made it out of some other toys, or if it was an actual totally original design, or it always seemed like it was thrown together. It's sort of like it's kind of like the Thing. I mean, Reanimator, where they just attach stuff together and it just looks like a mutant walking around. So I've always felt about that playset. I've seen it a couple of times in a couple of stores. It's very big, very complicated. It'd be very hard to find one of it complete that goes together and doesn't have something broken or missing. I don't think I'll ever own it. So I don't find it that interesting. I'd much rather spend my money on the new Castle Grayskull and the new Snake Mountain. And I'm hoping they do something for Hordak at some point, because the Fright Zone was never really what it was in the TV series. It never really related to that. And yet we're still in Locations, because it's so... Well, I guess it's a big universe. So we get Snake Mountain. How many pages does that get? It only gets 2 pages. So yeah, that probably could have gotten more, but again, got to cover everything else. And yeah, I'm surprised there isn't more about the design or the creation of some of this. It really is just, they had to stick to just listing basic information, encyclopedic sort of look at the world, and that's it. Now, chapter 7, Vehicles and Transportation. Not the longest chapter, not the shortest chapter. I don't know, I always liked the vehicles. Some of them didn't get used as much as you would think. And some of them were overused. Like, yeah, I'm not going to go into that. I think this is the end. Just go through all this. Oh god, Dragon Walker. I had that. I really remember getting that. Because it literally did walk across the floor. It had batteries. And yeah, if you've seen it, you know how it used to walk. Oh god, it's amazing how much the sheer volume of stuff they designed, even if not all of it was made into toys. So much. I was a little disappointed when I got these. Because I was looking after looking through the art books and that, I was sort of expecting more visuals, and it really is mostly information. But we're lucky we got this much information. It could have been just some fan-made black and white book that was all text and like one or two black and white pictures, or maybe a little section in the middle or something. But the fact you get an image of everything that they talk about, and yeah, like the very overused Wind Raider gets 2 pages. And yeah, they did 5 books, so I've gone through the art and the mini comic collection, and now, yeah, the character, and now I've just got the newspaper comics. I think that's all I got left to go. But I kind of always like it when they have ads for the actual books in the books. I'm a completionist, and it's nice to actually have everything pictured. So another beautiful volume, a lot of information. How long was that? How many pages was that? 698 pages, or 700 pages. So obviously I wasn't able to show everyone every image, but you get an idea of what's in it. And if you don't have it, now you know what to expect. And if you're a fan, you pretty much should have it.